This is Lisa Marie. I hope you are perfect, whole, and complete. Happy Friday. Beauty day of beauty, abundance, love, sensuality, sexuality, sultriness, pretty, just softness, movement, still power. You know, there is power in softness too. And so I'm learning that. I'm really, really learning that. Y'all, I feel like I'm going too deep. I feel like I'm going too deep. I'm going deep, y'all. I'm going very deep. I gotta put my glasses just to see, y'all. So I'm moving with a lot of pink energy. You may even go in my pink room before this live stream is over. I got my linen pink dress on, and then my glasses case is pink. Like, I didn't choose it. I got these glasses, and this was the case, and I was very happy with it. So, but I wanted to say again, good morning. I hope you are perfect, whole, and complete. I think I went to bed around 6 a.m. I'm actually reading this book. Well, I'm listening to this book on YouTube. It's by Shakti Gawain. Shakti Gawain. And she since passed, but she was a powerful metaphysician, and she wrote lots of books. And the one that I remember that I'm listening to on YouTube is called Creative Visualization. But she has another one. I want to say it's called You Are the Light. It's powerful. It's a 7-hour audiobook on YouTube, and it's it's an AI voice, but it's a nicer one, so it doesn't bother you. And her creative visualization one on YouTube, she's actually the one reading it. But this one with the light. Okay, I went to so I was so tired at 6 o'clock. I laid in bed. I turned on this 7-hour audiobook by Shakti Gawain, and I remember all of these. Now, this is the stuff that brought me to y'all. This was my education. Louise Hay, Shakti Gawain, um, Sonia Choquette. Like, these are coming back into my existence and my realm. I'm also adding some new ones. Mark Allen, who was the co-founder of this particular publishing company, that him and Shakti Gawain, very powerful man too. I mean, this is doing something to me, y'all. It's a lot of light. I actually found another one I used to love, Sanaya Roman, and she would channel somebody called, was it Ben or DeBen, something like that. Um, it's powerful, very powerful stuff. So I'm doing more than channeling for myself. I am going back and looking at what I could have did, what I could do differently, what I may have missed in my other, iterations of something called my life. And let me say this when I say iterations of something called your life, because as you grow, experience life, so basically as you live, you actually accumulate more knowledge because you're also accumulating more experiences. So you're accumulating more experiences, even though some of them may seem like they're the same one and you're repeating it over and over again. It's just a different place, different space, different face. But, and maybe you never realize it. But even if you feel like you're repeating something that you thought that you should have learned already, you're not repeating. You're learning more about yourself. You're learning different things that you didn't learn about it before, because it really, your experience, you didn't have enough experience to see that, oh, this is an energy, or this is a reoccurring thing, or I got that part of, oh, I got that part of having abandonment issues, but I didn't get this part. So I had to go through another relationship or live in another place or have another experience to get me closer to an understanding, and perhaps, and I don't, because I really don't have the answer to this one, and perhaps a release and letting go once and for all. Enough where you feel like you can have what you want. I don't know if sometimes, just real talk, like, am I supposed to ever have a great relationship in this lifetime? Or am I supposed to go through or experience the healing of not having that, and gaining a better understanding of what that is, and perhaps the next lifetime I can do better. Now that's glim and glum, rather that's glum, and that's a little bit, I know there's some people that be like, no girl, that's not it. But I kind of feel like it sometimes, because the other thing is, I remember reading some spiritual, metaphysical book back in the day. Who's to say because relationships end you failed or you had failed relationships? They really could have gone to where they were supposed to go so that you can move on. I think that if I stop looking at, and maybe we all should, of what it's supposed to be and what it's supposed to look like, we would stop judging it as if we succeeded or failed. That's just kind of something that I really have been thinking about, that they're all successful. And that maybe, I don't, this part I don't believe. I was like, it's always the way we're looking at it. That part I do believe. It's always the way we're looking at it. But I was going to say, some people in and out of relationships don't think anything of it. Everyone I know thinks something of it. So I can't even really say that most of us don't want to have the answer. I think most of us don't want to be in pain. But yet we continue to be in pain. So a lot of times when you're doing this very, very deep work, I need you to know this. You need to take breaks, not so much from the work, but from maybe going outside that day. You might have a day where you got errands to run, you got 1,000 things to do that you should do. And Louise Hay always say, take should out and say could instead of should. Because should is always making yourself wrong. And we don't want to make ourselves wrong. That's why I think that the importance of balancing your gurus is very important. Like the work of Louise Hay is so important. Because I'm kind of getting here like, oh my God, because I'm doing all this light work and the light flowing through you. And the idea of divine masculine and feminine, which is the balancing of both between inside of us, it's heavy. It's so freaking heavy. But so I had to remember, wait a second, I know you was listening to hours of this, but go keep the Louise Hay in there that I love you, Lisa Marie. I really, really love you. And remembering that every time you want to say should, say could. So I said that there may be things that you think that you should be doing, but there are things that you may think that you could be doing, but something in you doesn't want to do it. And it's not because you're lazy or you're not doing what you're supposed to do. It's because something else is happening in your body, mind, and spirit. Not just one of them, all of them, at the same time. And that is so deep and it's so much energy moving through you that you have to do nothing. And you gotta be okay with that. And that is just so hard for me. Like, I feel like I gotta go do bananas, I gotta go do all these things. But nothing in me is allowing me to do it. And so while I'm listening to the book, Shakti Gawain, she's telling you that these are ways that you're going to know that you're, believe it or not, that you're actually going to a higher elevation. Is when you do have things you could be doing, that you plan on doing. But the moment, because the whole idea is about your intuition. And intuition is always in the moment. Intuition is never telling you something for later, most likely not. Intuition, I'll say she, because it is she, even if it's experiencing a male body or being experienced in a woman's body, it is still she. It is the divine feminine of ourselves. See, I get my fan, this happens all the time. I don't know what's going on, okay? I mean, I personally think it's actually just that high hormones, but it could be other stuff too. I'm going with that. So I think that intuition is always in the moment. And a lot of times I think why we don't listen to our intuition, some people will say, and I get this part, I don't know what voice is intuition. What voice is the voice that I should be listening to? Which voice is that voice? I think that there's a question in that, but I think the thing is, intuition is going to tell you to do things that you did not put on the to-do list. Yeah, intuition is going to rock your entire world. Intuition is going to make you lay in bed all day, even though you have all these things you could do, that you could be doing. Intuition is going to make you feel so deeply that you actually really just don't even want to feel anymore. Intuition is going to ask you to love yourself in such a way that it's radical even for you. And you're a pretty out there person. Intuition is going to go to the darkest places and bring light to them. But before the light comes, the darkness has to be removed. Like intuition, she is not what you think she is. This is what I'm learning. And intuitively, I can't move. I can't move. I'm having heavy thoughts. I just need to feel that, be with that, and love on that. Because that's all I can get right now. So the idea of the divine master purpose, so let me tell you, got really deep. Because when I go through something, particularly what gets everybody gets their attention is, something gets their attention in a different way. Right? What do I mean by that? You want to get my attention, you want me, I'm talking to spirit. Spirit, you want me to do the work? Let me have a relationship that fails. Okay? Oh, child, let me tell you, if you want me to go down, when I first started Queen for a Sacred Woman, it was in 2000. So that was 26 years ago. I can't believe it was 26 years ago. It feels like yesterday. I really mean it. 26 years ago is a long time. And I've been on YouTube for 18 of those 26 years. So, wow. And I remember when I first started Sacred Woman in 2000, and that was the year that it was first came out as well. So I was on it right away because I was already reading her other book, Heal Thyself. Not reading it. That's a book you don't read, you do. Just like her book, Sacred Woman, is not a book you read, you do. And I was going through it. I had had termination of pregnancy at that point. I was looking for love in all the wrong places. I'm sure I came out of a toxic relationship, not toxic, a not so great relationship. And also, I'm sure I was immediately looking for another one. Okay? I'm sure, because of my patterns then was such. And I remember when I found Queen for a Sacred Woman, which was so intriguing to me about the book, was the fact that at the end, there was 9 gateways, including gateway 0. So it was 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But there's more now. She redid it and it's more. Queen for a Sacred Woman. So, but I love the fact that there was before Nefer Atum, which is the kind of enlightenment. It's this enlightenment. It is the alignment of your divine master, divine feminine, between heaven and earth, the alignment with your higher self. But prior to the one before that, and let me just say, when you went from 0, 0 was the sacred womb, so it was doing the dirty work. I won't say the dirty work, but the deeper work. And then it was like, I'm not doing it in order because I can't remember the order, but it was like, that's sacred food. Let's just say there was sacred beauty, sacred movement, sacred word. And it kept going up, sacred relationship. And there was sacred union. And all I wanted to do was get through these other gateways, which I did take my time through each, because I wanted to get to sacred union. I wanted a sacred union so bad, like so intensely, that I was just loving this book because I was going to get, after sacred union, I stayed in a long time too, because you can stay in these gateways for as long as you need to. And I can't even remember that for the two. Because I got in sacred union, by the time I got there, I did manifest another man, a man. Pretty amazing one, lasted 6 years, but, didn't last forever because it really wasn't supposed to. It very much healed it was my initial diving and looking at my relationship that I did not have with my father, or the relationship I did have, which was he was not there and he left. And I started writing poetry. My father came to me spiritually. He was God. So that was when I did a tremendous amount of healing work around my father, that I loved him, and I felt much more connection, even though he was deceased. It's only when I first started, later on I got, when I did the Ancestry.com, this was 20-some years, at least 20 years later, like 20 years later, and I found my father's family, and they gave me his obituary, my father's family. And it's really interesting, when I started Sacred Women in 2000, he was still alive, because he didn't die till, and I can't remember the year, I'll go look at one of the obituaries, but it was some years into Sacred Woman. So when his spirit was talking to me, it was still, his spirit was alive. When his spirit passed, his spirit still continued to talk to me. And all the fathering, when I think about my abandonment issues and not having my father, mine was, well, what did I feel like? I must have felt like I didn't get something. I must have felt like I missed something. And what I felt like I missed was guidance. That I had all these bad relationships or looking for love in all the wrong places, because if he was there, he would have guided me and I would have not had to deal with all this stuff that I dealt with in relationships. So he did guide me, and he still does in the other worlds, okay? On the other side, that's how they use the term, on the other side, and from the other side. So, and then I met a man, because I'm doing Queen Forward, I'm in Sacred Union, boom, this elder man that actually really helped me to, he came and he would have to tell me things, or he shared me and told me things about how to care for myself in different ways and what I deserved and what a man would have to do after him, and every man would have to treat me this and better, and all kinds of things that your daddy would tell you, which is interesting enough that I healed, because what I wanted was my daddy to guide and direct me, and he could not do that because he was not here in my mind, right? So then I do all this work and I meet a father figure. The man was 28 years older than me, but he thought I was everything. Like, he saw me, he created stages for me. I was freaking everything. But he also taught me things on a very personal level that I won't share here, but as a man to a young woman. And it did work. Thank you for the love. Like, when I think about it, it was what I needed. I did the deep work. Thank you so much. And I received the deep healing, and I received with that thing that I didn't get from my father. And now I realized, talking about it with y'all, that he was just there for that, to show me that, see, you healed with your father, and I came through to be able to give you what you didn't receive. Unfortunately, I should have listened more. Man, so which also says that if my father had told me the same thing being alive, I may not have heard him either. So you never know the path you're going to take. You think when you don't have something that if you had it would be great. You do. When you don't have something, you think you would be better off having it. You don't know. You could have had it, and it could have been, my father was around, but he was, my father was an addict. He was heroin. He was addicted to heroin. He could have ruined my life or my mother's life. It could have been worse than better. Who knows the things that could have happened if he had been around. Let's say that he was clean and he was not an addict or addicted to anything. He still could have not been what my dream told me. But it was okay. The universe gave it to me and this other man, and it was the older man, and it was really good, right? And then we separated because the older man knew that there was more for me to do. That I was truly a healer, truly a guide, and that truly a teacher, and that he was going somewhere else and had to do something else. And he got married, actually, to a woman that was an African woman that very much, they didn't have a lot in common, but she was going to take care of the house well and probably take care of him in his old age. And he saw me doing other things. It was years later, when I first moved to Ghana, 6 years ago, that he got in touch with me, and he talked, and I'll never forget, he said, go ahead. I was afraid, he was like, go ahead. He used to be like, yep, I'm not surprised you're in Ghana. Of course you would do that. I told you there was so much more for you to do. Yeah, he knew. He saw me before I could even see me. He was everything that I wanted a dad to be. He really was when I think about it. So if I look back at that relationship, I could say, it wasn't meant to be, we were going to get married. Because he told me, he said, you're nobody's housewife. I need you to get this straight. And he didn't mean that in a bad way. He meant that in, you can stand on your own. You are supposed to be out there in the world doing stuff. You're not supposed to be like, I'm going to be the housewife. I'm just going to take care of my husband. Nothing wrong with that for the ladies that want that and desire that and are actually having that. I'm going to raise the children. No. That's not you. You got great work to do that is different from that great work. And you're going to do it. He was, obviously, I think he was right. So I fell some more because I still was like, wow, we're not together. He's married to somebody else. Like, what happened? But he did me right. When I say he did me right, I can't keep saying it, but I mean, he he said, I feel wrong about how it was done and I want to make it up to you. And so he took me to, he sent me, he told me, buy you a ticket to stay anywhere in the world. And where would you want to go? And I kept thinking of Paris. And he was going to buy a ticket. I called him, I said, no, not Paris. And then I don't know what else I said. There was some other European country. He's like, I thought you would say like the Caribbean, Bahamas, and something. I said, oh no, you're right, Trinidad, because I want to find my father, because then I thought my father was in Trinidad. My mom said he was Trinidad. He wasn't. He's from New Orleans. He's Louisiana. But anyway, he did. And then even after a year after the breakup, he paid all my bills and released my rent for, actually all my bills for the whole year, anonymously, so to speak. That's why that even though we had the ups and downs, I never speak harshly of him, if you notice, because he knew on a bigger level that he was going to go kind of settle for this over here because he was in a different place than me, and that I was supposed to go on. And he still showed his love by saying, I'm really setting you free. I've taught, I've given, you got it. He's always said, you got it. So you don't really need me. And then think about it on a bigger, higher level, he did come into my life to be what I said, well, when I'm going through my darkest time, I'm doing it, cleaning for a second, I'm doing the room work, and I'm healing, and Spirit is asking me, well, what do you want? What do you feel like you didn't get? What do you feel like you missed out on? What do you feel? And I was like, I wouldn't have been going through this. And my daddy would have told me that. And my daddy would have told me this. And Spirit said, well, here he is. And that was that. That was that, y'all. It was like, that was that. It's true, here he is. He did tell me the things that I needed to know. And it was up to me to listen. It was up to me to pay attention. Well, and that is just the truth, right? So, and I was thinking about that time. I was like, thinking about this idea of being masculine and feminine energy and how I feel like as my relationships went on, I became through life, I became less able to be more in my femininity. But I realized it wasn't that I was less being able to be in my femininity. It was that there was a loss of my innocence going through life. And I remember right before I met the old man, I still had that in me. My daughter at that point was 5 years old. I still had that wonder and excitement when I met the older man. I still, and then he allowed me to be, he was the father figure in every way. I think a lot of women, when they say they want an alpha male, I think what they want is a father figure in a lot of ways, because he protected me, he bragged about me, he encouraged me, right? So and he supported me, even though I had my own money, because we worked together, we did contracts, it was beautiful, we worked. But I got to keep my money, he still paid all the bills, he was just there for me in a way that my own father wasn't, right? So he really, I was really, still had a little girl in me. I never told him what to do or how to do it. He knew what to do. He knew more about what to do than I did. I don't say, it wasn't like a leader following me. We were standing together, working together, healing and together and growing together. But he really was the man and a man. So I was very girly in a way, and I mean, he was so much older than me, I just did not know. And I loved that because it was a part of me that I feel like over the years after that I kind of lost. I lost it because prior to him, I had never, no one in my family, all the women in my family are absolutely single. The one that did get married she was more dominant in her relationship with her husband than he was. So I never really saw a man and a woman. Actually, even my mom's friends were not married. Like, I never saw a husband and wife up close interacting together. Like, I never saw it. So my relationship that I had was the closest to it. But I was just so yielding because this man knew how to empower me or let me or remind me how much power I had without taking away from that power and allowing that power to even come through in my femininity. So it's a perfect balance of each. And I think that that's what we really are thriving for as humans. We all have the divine masculine and divine feminine in us. And it is every single soul, male, female. And inside, what we're doing is we're wanting to continually find what that balance is. That balance might not be equal on both sides, but the idea is that the divine feminine energy, right, is the one energy, not woman or man, is the one that has the intuitive nudging, the intuitive idea, the one that feels it from spirit. And then it is the masculine side of us that takes action and makes it happen. Okay? So really what we try to mimic outside is really what is supposed to be going on inside. So when you look at your outside relationships and you feel like that there's an imbalance in these roles, and so let me tell you, this could be an imbalance too, that I totally depend, that I am there for my husband to give him loving, intuitive nudgings, tell him what I'm feeling, be very nurturing, loving, and supportive. And he's there to take care of me, to make sure my rent is paid and my bills. There could be an imbalance in that if you don't realize that first those two things have to be inside of you as a woman, and also those two things have to be inside of him as a man. Or if a same-sex partner, same thing. They have to be both masculine and feminine in that body and both masculine and feminine in this body. It doesn't matter. And what it is we totally embody, as women sometimes, only the divine feminine side. And the men, only the divine masculine. And that's so unhealthy that when the two people come together, it's almost like they're bringing 50% only. They're not bringing 100%. They're not bringing their divine masculine and feminine balance and in harmony. And the man is not bringing this masculine and feminine balance and harmony. He's bringing the masculine that the world told him to be, and she's bringing the feminine. When the idea is how do we embody that within ourselves, we'll probably have a lot better relationships. So I feel like I definitely got unbalanced. When I think about the relationship that came after, I ain't talking about the little ones. Little ones, I was jacked. I was still doing Queen of Food, which I had to go back and be like, oh, I'm kind of messed up there. So, but I manifest another relationship where I tell people all the time, we're together for 10 years and we argued all of the 10 years. Do you know, couldn't even tell people like, what did you argue about? This came up for me in this meditation. I said, what did we argue about? I remember saying things, like we women gotta very much watch this, or anybody, but let me just say, like, well, I can do it, why can't you do it? I was always putting down kind of his manhood because I could make up my mind, which I equated with the masculine energy. And I could go for what I wanted. And I knew how to take care of myself, but why couldn't he know how to take care of me? And the other person did it before you. So I might be hitting different women. You might be triggered in a good, hopefully in a good way, or in a deep way, rather. Well, so-and-so did it, why can't you, right? Some people do that. Well, my daddy did it, why can't you, right? And we have this idea that this man is not being man because maybe he's more connected to his feminine side, still imbalanced there, but nothing wrong with it, then and you're more connected to your masculine side because of life. At this point, I did have to raise my own daughter. I mean, my daughter's father definitely was there, very, very helpful, so I have to do everything, but she was with me the majority of the time. I had to figure out what I was going to do for work. I didn't have a man to pay my bills and to take care of me. I had to do all of that. My daughter's father he gave me money a month for my daughter, and that was about it, and got her every other weekend. And that was beautiful, but it wasn't the ideal that we thought in our mind that the man's supposed to make sure he paid the bills. He wasn't my man, and I couldn't ask that of him, So I think seeing that, you're tired. It's an imbalance, and you're not doing the inner work to balance the masculine and feminine, so outer work is going to show up. And I think by the time you get a man, then you're like, if he ain't stepping up, you're going to be doing everything. You tired. You think, you trying to figure out why he can't, because yes, you did when you have to do it all. You did me see, exercise the masculine side of yourself. You did. You did have to do it all. So remember, not male, woman, not in a physical sense. We're talking about the spiritual sense. The feminine side of each individual is the one that has the intuition, the one that gets the thought from the intuitive nudging that's closest to God in some way. That's why she creates a baby, right? And the masculine side is the one that has to do the action. A lot of women are living in action, which is the doing, more than they're able to in the being. So they're not being, they are doing, which causes an imbalance inside of them, because if they're always having to do, which is the action-oriented part of ourselves, then the feminine side, speaking, is going to suffer. So it's not so much that she's going to even have time to sit and meditate. She's not going to have time to go to higher elevations. She's not going to have time to self-actualize, right? Because real shit is going on. She got to pay them bills. She got to pay that rent. She got to pay for her daughter's medical. She got to pay for her daughter's after school programs. Some kids got to pay for her daughter's school or child. So she's always in her masculine, but she didn't have to go there. It was a belief in her mind that she has to kick in and just make everything happen. So after years of doing that, when she meets a man who now, let's talk about the male. Now I tend to attract artists. And a lot of artists, the reason why I think they're so good at what they do is because they're very much in their divine feminine side, more so than their divine masculine side. Because that painting, that masterpiece, that is coming from their divine feminine, because the divine feminine side is receptive, and is receptive to something that cannot be seen. So they're indulged in that side all the time, because they're painting masterpieces, and they're sculpting, and they're whittling, and they're doing all these things that are very much, yes, the action part of actually painting the painting, but it's coming, the more that comes out, because once an artist, usually, let's just say a painter, just for example, any kind of artist, once they create that painting, they intuitively find more things to create, right? So the joy of doing it is not even the joy of finishing it and producing it is a little more anticlimactic than the joy of receiving the intuitive nudging. So now you got a man that's more in his feminine side. Not bad, nothing bad about, but we're supposed to be balancing both. So no, he ain't doing no action. Most he can do is do his painting, and that's about it. No, matter of fact, and some men had to be forced to never be in their feminine side. And I know a lot of artists that once they got married or had children, they felt like they couldn't devote all the time it would take to be an artist. And so they ran into this male role, because the woman said, well, listen, we got a baby now, you got to go to work. So they're doing jobs they hate. They're forced to be these macho men. When think about it, most artists are a little feminine. I don't mean infeminine. I don't mean acting like what we call a girl, right? Which is not wrong, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about they're not going to be the ones that make all the decisions in the household. Okay, they're probably going to be more attracted to women that are a bit more masculine in their presentation, meaning in what she feels she can do and what she takes care of. But just because he presents more, or he's more in touch with his feminine side, and she's more in touch with her masculine side, I know we think this is a match made in heaven. But the idea is, we're not coming with 50-50, 70-30, or no 50-50 love, okay? Hey, we got to come with 100%, we got to come with 100%. That's how it works now. If you want to skip this part, you're not going to do well in life, okay? So, he feminine over there, you masculine, y'all is, and you want him, you're pumping him, being more of a man, and he's looking at you like, I wish she was more softer and more loving and more feminine and more, and you're like, well, I could do it, why can't you? And he's more feminine, he's looking like, well, I could be more gentle, why can't you? And you both are going to bump heads and struggle, and you probably ain't gonna make it. That was my marriage, in my opinion. My ex was more feminine than me. Not more feminine than me in the way you're thinking, because he was an artist. He did that, playing that role in his family when he raised his children. You're the man. You take care of everything. He hated it because this natural part of his feminine side that wasn't allowed. Society doesn't allow really for a man to be feminine and to be straight. If you're feminine, then we gotta label you. Now you're gay. Not all feminine men, and I don't mean infeminine. I don't mean acting like a girl. I'm talking about men that express, men that don't really want to make no decisions. When a woman is more on her masculine side, we don't. Then we're not really attracted to them. So we try to emasculate them because we already feel like they're not being men according to what society told us. But both need help now. Let me explain this part. Both of them need help. Why do I say they both need help? Because he's not, society kicked your butt and made you feel like being an artist is sissy, not playing football, baseball is sissy, whatever it is, right? You have to balance that masculine and find peace in what that masculine energy is for you and balance the two. Same thing as the woman has to. You could literally be in all of your divine feminine energy. We've seen some women do this. This shit is masterful. I wish I can, I'm going to see if I can learn how to do it. But she's still very powerful. You can be feminine and softer, but powerful in that. Most of us, we don't see it as that. I sound like I'm saying there's masculine and there's masculine and there's feminine. Like it's these two opposing. No, really, there's masculine and feminine. 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 It's a blending that we won't even have to call it masculine and feminine. Not the most easiest task to get to. It's quite difficult, if anything. Because the world makes us have to choose. So now I'm coming back because after the 10-year one, I do realize that I was like, well, I could do it, you could do it, and all you want to do is paint and do his other stuff. I'm like, what are you talking about? You don't want a salad? I was masculine down, okay? And which was so interesting during that time, I was shiny and glowing and lipstick and pretty dresses that was flowing. So that's what I'm telling you, it's not necessarily how you present. But I was definitely riding him. Do you get it? So I lost that, the way I was with the older man. I wasn't with the man that was closer to my age. So then my next major relationship, not only was the person an artist, which I think if Africa would allow, he would be more into his divine feminine side, but he was younger than me. So now I'm really the boss now. I'm the boss bitch here. I know what to do, I know when to do it, I know how to do it, I know what you should be doing, I know when you should be doing it. Follow me, do what I say. No divine feminine energy. I remember things used to be like, listen, it's the way you talk to me, it's the way you ask me. You could ask me in a way, a woman could ask a man in a way to do something, he would do it in a minute. And I just did not hear that. And a lot of times when I feel like we stay stuck as women into especially our masculine energy, it's because we're afraid. You're not bad. You didn't do anything wrong. Let me tell you what you did. You're trying to stay safe. You're so used to, if I don't make the money, we're not going to eat. If I don't make the money, the lights are going to go off. If I don't make the money, we won't have a place to sleep. So your whole life is on this, I got to be in control, because literally you have had to. So my ex, I remember he used to want to be the masculine one and take, I'd be like, no, that's not how it works. Because I'm older too, so now I'm already got masculine energy, now I'm older. So it's like, no, that's not going to work. It's never going to work, it's never going to work. No, just stop right there. No, I'll do it. Just give it to me. Fuck it, I'll do it. What space does that man have? who's probably more his feminine side anyway, because he's an artist and he has to intuit and there's softness, but he's big and he's the senior son, the elder son, so he got to know everything, but he's just a human being. So he got pressure from me, pressure from his mama, who maybe her own husband wasn't the most masculine, so now the son has to be, but he's not really that. He's in a society that doesn't let him be in touch with that. Mama hard as hell like me. He lost, so I got this. And I didn't know how to be. I didn't think we were going to live. I thought we were going to be hungry if I let him do it. So I asked him one time, when he was with him, did he ever ask you for money? Or say he wanted to get to the States? He never ever talked about wanting to go to the States. He never asked me for money. I'm going to tell you something, I never told nobody. Remember when I first met him, and he was doing his thing. He was what he could do for me. When he couldn't take me on a date, he hired these two, or asked these two xylophonists and drummers. On our first day, I put it on YouTube with no money, and this is what we did. And they played for me, and I sat down, and he had enough to buy me water, and he was just so doing the things, and I was enjoying it. But I remember when I know he was going through stuff, or I could feel like he was going through stuff, I'd be like, oh, let me help you, let me help you, let me help you. He'd be like, no, because my help was, I can give you some money. He'd be like, no, I swear I know this to be true. I've got to tell the truth. He was like, no. I swear he didn't want to take it. I forced it on him. Because instead of me being in my feminine side and knowing that he had this and he was going to take care of it, my masculine side kicked in and said, danger, danger, danger. Not enough to eat, not enough to sleep, we're going down. You got to save everybody. Danger, danger. So then he started, of course, taking it reluctantly, and I ruined it. Never gave him a chance to do it. He would say, you don't give me a chance, you don't give me a chance, you don't never think my ideas are good, you don't never, I don't know what he got, if somebody is doing everything for him now. It's not my business, I'm just telling you what I did. We can ruin relationships. But it's not that we ruin them, it's that the one inside of us was ruined. But it's not ruined. We can fix it if we're willing to look at it. You know, somebody said, did he ever make plans for the future? Oh my God, our whole life was about making plans for the future. Talking about states, he never said he wanted to go, never tried, never talked about it, never married me. He asked me 3 times. I think sometimes when I get out of a relationship and it didn't work out well, I'm hurt because I can see what I was carrying to bring this to the level that it was brought to. I find this is something I learned, that when a man asks you to marry him and you keep saying no, then he says you don't want me. You have insulted him in this culture, you disgraced him. And you saying, I don't want you. You took the last bit of manhood by asking you, being a man in this society is to ask a man, I'm talking about society period, is to ask a woman to marry you, and the woman says no. You are going to find somebody that will say yes. You're going to find somebody that's going to let you feel like a man and take your hand in marriage because this person over here don't want you. My thing was, we ain't got everything together. Why would we get married? What's the benefit of me? He ain't gonna be able to take care of me. He ain't gonna be able to I gotta do everything. But he wanted to, but I wouldn't know how to trust. I didn't trust. Being in your feminine energy is trusting. Now, bigger, not in another human being, although that could be nice. Trusting in the universe. When we're in that survival mode, guess what, ladies? We are not trusting in the universe. As above, so below. So that man is just below. He's just a reflection. It's not that you needed to trust. If you would have trusted in the man had you trusted in the universe. You would have trusted in the man. You would have trusted in the mailman to bring you a check. You would have trusted in the job to call you. You would have trusted in your kids being taken care of. You would have trusted that there was enough food. You didn't trust because that would be feminine. You see what happens when we lose our, we think losing our divine feminine energy, not being in touch with it, is we're going to look like a man. We're going to act like a man. That's the littlest part of it. The worst part is what goes on inside. They're not trusting that the universe has your back. Because as a feminine energy, you are yielding. You are trusting. You took the message. You relayed it. You put it. So yeah, I played back the more than one time relationship where I was like, ooh, I was in, but then I'd be jumping myself, be like, you were scared. You, listen, especially a woman or man, but let's talk about a woman who has experienced abject poverty where there was not enough to eat. I lived and grew up in a household, there was not enough to eat. We literally were starving. We were hungry as hell. We buy these candy bars back in the day. I was from New York. They were called marathons. I swear we had enough. My mother had enough to buy one marathon, and we split it. It was four of us. We had a piece. Maybe some biscuits she could get, some flour, butter, and sometimes we had jelly, and we could have a biscuit. We literally did not have enough to eat. So me being real cute right now and thinking some gonna save us, it never happened. How we finally got in poverty was my brother turned 18 and got a job. My sister, the year after, my sister turned 18 and got a job. The year after, I turned 18 and got a job. That's how we stopped not being hungry. I was hungry from the 0 day till I was 18 years old. 17 years old, 18 years old. Never having enough of nothing. Wearing the same clothes every day, have to clean it out. Didn't even know enough to know to clean it out. My mom would go through such deep depression that she was out of it. She was in a room in the dark with a bunch of clothes on her head. And my brother is the oldest. We got to get it together. We got to make it happen. Get my youngest brother to school. I washed his clothes. I didn't wash my own. So many things that I was not even taught as a young lady. So I was not going to be dependent on somebody to take care of me. And when you don't heal that, when you don't realize how it affected you, because just today, this moment as I'm talking to you, is I'm realizing how that even has affected my relationships, romantic relationships. Can never depend on a man. A man got you into this mess. Is what was the messages, without being said, the messages were definitely implied. It was definitely implied. But it wasn't that I necessarily realizing that we wasn't not trusting men. We were not trusting the divine. The divine never came through. Thank you for the love. The divine never came through. We struggled every single time. Got one thing that they said, to rob Peter to pay Paul. I should know that saying by heart. So now you're going to be all pink and pretty and soft. I'm going to have a hard time. I don't know what that is. And I don't even know that I don't know what that is. And I don't even know if I knew what that was, where that came from. I got to go do this damn work that I'm doing. I got to go lose the men in my life that I cared about. So yeah, I'm almost 60 and I'm just getting it. And I don't think it's that I'm just getting it. I just think I'm getting more of it. I think there's some layer that I was deeper than this one. It was buried deeper than this one. I think I'm getting more of it. So yeah, I'm working on my stuff, y'all. I'm working on my stuff. So anyway, I'm gonna come to the thing. If you watching this on the replay, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. If this hit you, moved you in any way, and you want to donate something, in the description box is my Zelle, my CashApp and my PayPal. Let me thank sister. I think the name of it was Ama. I won't say your whole name, but I think it's Omo or Ama. I'm gonna say that. And J. I'm trying to say BH. I want to thank you also for your donation as well. So the sister that sent it through PayPal and the sister that sent it through CashApp. So I'm going deep, and it's not comfortable, and it's sad, and you blame yourself, and you wish you knew then what you know now, wish you could go back. So it could have been different, but it couldn't have been different because I didn't know enough for it to be different. So it seems like we do the best work or the best healing work when we're with ourselves. I got to learn how to do that with others as well. So here's that is. We could go deeper, but let me see. I got 13 people, 6 thumbs up. We give thanks for that. Let's see who we got in the house. Good mama. Hey, Adeg, oh boy, Yaga. I don't know, but how are you? Spiritually enlightened, beautiful art, definitely making it work. Thank you. True queen. Thank you, Kristen. I don't like men like that. But let's think about why and how maybe we could change that. Crystal Bush says, I feel I operate in my most extreme feminine energy when a man makes me feel safe. I'm not attracted to soft men and bumps. Okay. Good morning from DC, rise to the sun with you all, blessed day. Yes, but y'all, okay, I don't know when you left the messages, so you could have. But, because I would feel like I'm giving the wrong message if I leave you with that. Those men are a mirror to how imbalanced we are as well. The reason why you're not attracting the man that you say that you like is because you're probably not in your feminine energy either. It's almost like somebody say, I'll be in my feminine energy when you be in your masculine energy. The masculine is saying, no, I'll be in my masculine energy when you be in your feminine energy. Society has messed men up too. It's kind of a lie that there's this strong male that, okay, so let's talk about the elder man that I had. Yeah, he was. He knew how to secure you. He wanted you to look good. Those representing him. He paid all the bills. He did everything. The man was insecure, and I was around a lot of beautiful black women because that's the healing work I did. And he liked women that actually looked like me, dark chocolate, fine, beautiful, everything. And he lost his mind with every last one of them. He was flirting with every last one of them. He was absolutely. I said, why are you fucking ruining it? We got a good thing. He says, you know what? I ain't used to good in my life. I'm always waiting for the other shoe to drop. Because he also had feminine energy. He was an artist in so many other different ways as well. But his mother really forced that masculine thing on him. It's a balance, is what I'm saying. If you got somebody that is presents as ultra masculine, believe me, there's some inner turmoil. We should be presenting as both. We're so natural that we don't even know that where masculine ends and feminine begins, or vice versa. We're not operating in both. We're operating in one. We, the women, I'm just going to be, you're not all that feminine. You're masculine too. You can decide on how that shows up. Most likely, it's women who want a man to treat them in that way that they say that are probably presenting as very masculine without even knowing. The men that have to present masculine really got more feminine quality. They don't actually have, but they're in balance too. They're in balance too. You're in balance too. If we were taught, and we couldn't have been taught because the ones that taught us was our teachers did not know. Society, life will make you, like I'm saying, I had to be much more masculine because I really did have to pay all my bills. That's not. And not because I had to pay all them bills, I was so thinking I'm in alignment with spirit, I was not trusting the highest of the highest masculine and feminine energy. I didn't trust in the universe that everything was going to be okay. So then we wish for somebody else to make life better for us when we are not quite even being able to balance our own masculine and feminine energy. I think the reality is we should look for men that both are balanced and masculine. Because let me tell you what a balanced feminine energy in a man looks like. Masculine, definitely we get that. That he is able to be loving. So many women get the men that I watched Divorce Court with Judge Lynn Toler, which was even more important. And these women, the men be like, but I pay all the bills. I swear this is a big thing. The men be like, I pay all the bills. He do. The women say, yeah, he do. I take care of the kids. He do. She ain't got to work for nothing. Nope, I don't. But then the Judge Toler called the woman, well, what's the problem? He ain't romantic. He don't take me nowhere. He don't tell me I'm pretty anymore. You want that too. You're going to want it. You ain't going to want Brute. You ain't going to want Mr. Brute. Mr. Brute, 24/7, Mr. Brute. Disciplines with an iron hand, Mr. Brute. You're not going to want it. Mr. Brute is going to be simple. You're going to think Mr. Brute is so boring. Mr. Brute's not spontaneous. You're going to think you don't want it, but you're going to want it. You want a balanced man. Mr. Brute, you're going to have much more now, and not every time Mr. Brute thinks I pay the bills, I make the decisions. You actually have great ideas. But Mr. Brute, he paid all the bills, the kids is good, you got what you want. Mr. Brute ain't going to listen to your ideas, and they could have been right, could have got you into or out of something. You got to see the importance of Mr. Brute not being so brutish. You want him to be in touch with his divine feminine side, which is flowers, taking you out, making you still feel sexy, giving you gifts that's more romantic, getting a babysitter for the children, going on dates again. You don't want the masculine man you think. Because no one can be that. Then it's now they cosplaying and they're going to self-destruct. All right, man. You want the most feminine, whatever you say. Okay, what if you lose your job, Mr. Pay all the damn bills? You done got ding chick over here. She don't know how to do nothing. You done got her from her daddy's house and you brought her to yours. She don't know how to do shit. She done fell apart. The bills are not paid. You're about to lose everything because she don't know what to do. Because she is not balanced in her masculine energy. That get the fuck up and go do some shit. Talking to the man that want Susie Homemaker. No, you want Susie to have a brain. You want Susie to make decisions. But yet Susie has figured out a way to still be that feminine and be able to make those decisions. And Brutish done figure out a way to be the bread, whatever we need him to do, and still be loving. It's the imbalance of the individual. Everything you want and you don't have it, it is because you're not as that much of what you think you are than you are. You're not that. And if we keep thinking that it's their fault and our fault, and we don't like them kind of men, you don't want the brutish commercial. You know, a lot of them men, I remember in the South, them Southern men back in the day, paid all them bills and always had another woman on the other side of town. Think that hurt your mama? You think your mama like that? Mama didn't give a damn when he said, but you can't say nothing because I pay all the bills. Mama don't like that. We're looking for the balance between the divine masculine and feminine within ourselves. And we will then find it out there. We won't be attracted to a man that's more his feminine side or more his masculine side. You don't want neither one of them. In theory, it sounds wonderful. In reality, it sucks. For a man, in theory, she's sexy, she wears heels, she gives birth, and then her body goes back to normal. This is some crazy shit on both ends. But the reality is, no, she may gain weight and never lose it. She can't wear heels anymore to be sexy for you. Her feet literally hurt. She gained weight, shit, she breaking the heels. Come on now, she had your babies. She's going to talk back because now at this point she realized you don't know everything, which you're not supposed to. Balance, balance, balance. That's what we're striving for. That's what we're striving for. We're striving for the balance. Okay. Okay. We're going in the wrong place, but I mean, I'm not saying we're going in the wrong place. Let's see where we're going. Okay, so Crystal says, I operate in my most extreme feminine energy when a man makes me, okay, I got that. Okay. Hey, arrogantly, Nikki, no, arrogant, hey. Good morning from DC, rising with the sun. Okay, got that. Sharon, good morning, grand rising. Men are absolutely a mirror of our imbalance. We have not deeply rose from our wounds. We are doing a lot of soft aesthetics and no mental and spiritual transformation. Very well said. Sharon says, yes, sis, so as a man thinketh, so he is. Got to learn that our thoughts create our world. Absolutely that too. Evelyn says, amen. Those men are hurting. They are being smothered by these beliefs. God is in balance. God is the balance we seek. This is what we're saying here. It's why without God's spirit of the universe, so that we never find that balance, no matter how effort. Sister, you are preaching, and I'm assuming, yes. Balance, yes, Kristen. So Crystal says, no, I am in my feminine energy, but it is extreme when I feel emotionally and financially safe. I get that we're all a mixture. I've just never been attracted to men who are overly feminine energy. But yes, it's two different things I'm saying, but yes, I agree. Eric said, amen. Mr. Brute taught me I wanted a man, and a man in my eyes is balanced and respects the balance of a woman, not just a child calling herself a woman. Oh, girl, come on. Exactly. It has to be a balance, yes. Had another woman in the family on the other side of girl, we know about that. Let's look at this message. Right, that's why I said no soft men or bums, macho jokes. Yes, balance. Okay. So let me say that. But the balance is the imbalance of our, the balance is that we find it in ourselves and we cultivate it and create it, and then they will find it. The men that are too deeply into their feminine energy, I wouldn't condemn them, because then maybe we're too much in our masculine energy not knowing. So let me go back to the thing where you say, I'll just statement. I used to think this too. You'll never find a man. Let me tell you why. This one, you know, your theories may not be working. See, I used to say too, well, you know, my last relationship, I would have been more feminine. I would have been more feminine. And I would have felt more able to be more feminine if I felt safe. The safety you don't feel is not from this random man that you just met that don't make you feel safe. That inability to be safe is inner. Go back to when you first did not feel safe. 5, 10, 15 years old. Whatever it was, that's the safety that needs to be cleaned up. No other human, we're attracting what we're feeling. So if a man does not make you feel safe, it's not the man that you don't feel safe. It is the safeness that we don't feel because something happened somewhere and it left such an impression that went into our subconscious, and we're operating from that. When we clean up the feeling, and lovingly, I want to say, I'm saying lovingly because I don't like those podcasts that blame the woman. That I don't mean you did something wrong. I'm saying maybe something was wrongly done to us. Maybe something was unfairly done to us. I know that I can cosplay femininity if I want to, or I can cosplay feeling safe if I want to. I'd rather figure out how I can balance that and let go of I didn't have something. Let go of as a child I never felt safe, that it was instability in my childhood. Wonderful mother, loved her. So not necessarily our childhood may not be our parents were bad. They didn't know, they didn't have something. And sometimes we'll think like, no, it never happened. We block out a lot of stuff too. So I'm just, let it marinate too, because it's a lot what I'm saying. But for me, I go back to me. For me, I know that I did not feel safety as a young lady up to 18 years old. I had to make it happen. My mama did the best she could. She couldn't do no more. The men she had, they tried their best. They could never do enough for my mom too. And I think that was more her than them. There was unrealistic expectations put on a man. Sometimes it's not, we put unrealistic expectations because we have a deficit. And he's got to fill this wound that is bottomless. A bottomless wound. I know that with this new information through my meditation, spirituality, I know that I will attract something different. That's all that I can say. And I will do better when I have a man literally saying, hey, ask me in a different way. Hey, you don't listen to me when I do give suggestions. Hey, I'm going to pray for a patient man, but also that I can see my own self and see where I need to change. I don't expect to do all this work and I'm going to come out, bam, my man's going to be the man of the dreams and do everything right. But I'm going to be able to see where I need to be like, okay, you holding on, that's some old stuff, release that, and have wise women around me that I can connect to, that can remind me. So I attracted that because I was the opposite, maybe, possibly, I don't know. In a sense, I was the same. I was leaning too much on one and not the other. Even if you lean too much on the feminine side, that's not healthy either. It's a balance of both within. So the man we attract is just the man that, the parts of ourselves that we haven't reconciled yet. That's all. That's all. But we'll talk more about it. We'll talk more about it another time. If you want to book a consultation, you can also do that as well. Okay, so arrogantly says, hey, Crystal, I think the disconnect is maybe how it's being worded. When we feel what we feel in these experiences, often a result of what is upside down internally that he is shining light on energetically. Very nicely said. Yes, we do block out, cover up, Sharon, and eventually it all starts to come out, affecting many and later in life. I'm on a spiritual journey now, healing, and I hear it, and it sounds beautiful. Aaron says, when we say as women, I am this, when a man is that, it is essentially you identifying your shift based on how he shows up, but your fullness wouldn't waver with his behavior if you were whole and balanced queen. Crystal says, I grew up with my father in my home, and he was a hardworking man that was attentive and protective of my mom, and that's what I gravitate to as a woman. Great. So I know because you had that, you gravitate to it, it's a part of you. I don't think you're ever going to attract those men that you say you don't like. I don't think you'll ever attract those men. Because if that picture was so set and it works for you, first of all, congratulations, because it's a blessing. And I mean that too. I mean, I'm grateful, I'm so happy for you. Then I'm not worried about you. You don't even need to be talking about them weak men that we consider weak, because you would never attract those men. There's nothing in you that would even attract a weak man. And I'm gonna leave it like that. There's nothing in you. So I wouldn't even say I'm not attracted to them men, because you don't attract those men. You don't even know what them men look like. Them men don't even come near you. You don't even see them men. Them men know better than to come near you, because you are not matching their vibrational frequency. So I get that. Sugarlicious says, thank you for this talk. It was much needed. Thank you, Sugarlicious. Love the name. Oh, your sister Alma looks just like me. Hey, my Meg. Thank you. I'll take that. You're right. You don't even attract them. No, you don't even attract them. And that's what I said when I said that there are some women, you look at them and they got it right. So they saw something, they internalized it well, and they got it. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know a sister who attracts, because her grandfather on his own business. He was from the South. He was very much taking care of business. And so she always attracts men who have all of those qualities. They'll spend the money, they'll shower you, they seem great men. But every last one of them would not be consistent. Or some of them they were doing that for other women too. I'm saying we want balanced men. Because you can definitely find a man that does exactly what your granddaddy did. But you don't know everything your granddaddy did. So we want for our own selves, not the example of our father or our mother, which is great, it's a start. But the examples of what balance looks like. And once we become that balanced, we're not going to be, so Crystal, are you married? You don't have to tell me, but what I'm saying is, so do you want to be single? Are you dating? What I'm saying is, if there's difficulty in getting what we want, what we believe we deserve, what we believe we desire, don't look that direction. Then maybe if there is difficulty getting it, which I'm thinking it's not. I'm thinking you got the man you want, and he's he takes care of business, and you love him and all that. Or you're married, and you got that. But I think the rest of us are here because we do realize that there's some disconnect from us getting what we say that we want and actually having it. And so we're wanting to dig a little deeper to figure out why we don't have what we say that we want. Clearly you have it, and you might teach the rest of us how to get it, because we would love to know. But that's what this really is for. It's for those that are knowing that something is missing. And it's not everybody I'm meeting is just the wrong person. Maybe he's not wrong and I'm not wrong either. We just hurt, or there was something we missed, or because you want to do this in the most loving way to yourself. You want to do this in the most loving way. I never wanted to think that I was doing anything incorrectly. I used to always think it was outside of me, and it's not working. So I'm going a little deeper. And like I said, for the women that attract what they want, you're doing something right. And enlighten us, because this is a place to help us all out. I'm just one person. So anyway, y'all, I now feel like going to the store because I had a great conversation with y'all. So yes. Okay, and Arrogant says, and be clear, ladies, humans are everywhere. We attract all kinds of me. I love it. What you choose from what comes your way tells a different story. Yes, I don't have all the answers. I understand, Crystal. None of us do. We are all working on the building because our moms maybe were provided for, but did she ever get the flowers, the deliveries dad never sent? What about the kisses she wanted while cooking dinner, but dad, the protector, never offered them? Exactly. I'm just vibing discussing with y'all. These conversations are healthy to have. Yes, they are, sis. Crystal, be mindful of idolizing what you have seen. Yeah, for sure. And while you may be mentally and emotionally balanced, there are some real actors out here. So what you think you are getting may not be. I mean, now that is a whole other level, and I think it's a nice level to talk about, take a few minutes on. I used to think that too, I was thinking about this idea of a narcissist, right? And yes, we didn't deserve that. Yes, those are horrible relationships. Yes, they may present themselves as ourselves, they say. They present themselves as what you wanted and became it. So this is kind of like the actors you talk about. I think narcissists are the greatest actors. But then I had to really go deep. This one right here, y'all. I was like, but everyone's not a narcissist, so why did I still attract a narcissist if I believe a person to be one? So I don't think there's any part, an actor cannot act his energy, or he can't act my energy, and so to speak. I wanted to believe that person. I wanted to want what I thought he was presenting. I left something, intuition, something went out the door because I really wanted this to be something. And I think that every one of us have been in that one, where we kind of, but we wanted it. Damn it, we wanted him. He's presenting. We like it. We know it's off. We know the shit probably ain't real. But God dang it, for this moment, let me be in this delusion right now. Let me be in this illusion right now. I'm not saying we're going to find perfect people, because we're only going to find ourselves always, but I think that we're going to find people that are willing to know they're not perfect. People that are willing to do the work. That's all we're really asking for. We don't want perfection. It doesn't exist. We want imperfection that knows it. Imperfection that's working on it. Imperfection that's open. That's what we want. That's what we're going to get, period. But it's bad when you have the ones that don't know, because you don't know, don't want to speak about it, holding it in, never thought about it. No, you don't want to attract them. We don't attract those. We're attracting men that know and love themselves. Listen, y'all, just to make the ladies, let you feel better, I was doing the thing about I love you, right? I really, really love you. And a brother got in touch with me and said, hey, I'm a brother, 40-something, I live blah, 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 and I'm also learning how to love myself more. And I wanted to know what other things you offer, or what some of the things you offer that can help me go on my journey to self-love. There you go. That's a good man. I mean, in theory. Ain't no perfect people walking around. Not over 20. Not over 20. They ain't perfect. So now we get the real deal. This is more of the fantasy. We can let that go. We should really be going for the ones that know they did wrong, want to make up, want to make things right, want to be mature about how they handle something, and if they can't fix the old, they go into the new better. Want to dig into themselves, and that's what we're going to start realistically meeting. And so now we're growing together, because we have love and respect for each other. And we really want this. And we really want to grow. I would rather be with somebody that's willing to change than somebody that's lying about the change. So we're going to keep moving forward. Great conversation. I know we can go on forever, so I probably should go. Yes. Hey, Coco. Hey, Coco. Wow, yes, no wonder my mom was so hard, so tough. No hugs, kisses, no sweetness. Making dinner, doing work, and no flowers offered ever. Makes me want to send her flowers today. Thank you. You are so welcome, because it could be applied the other way around too. So thank you, Coco. That's right, no perfect person, but you can't change if you don't admit you need change. Absolutely. And Erica says, how deeply have you loved someone as they are is how deeply you will realize you have not met yourself. Woo, powerful. We're going to read that again, and then I'm going to go. Arrogant says, how deeply have you loved someone as they are is how deeply you will realize you have not met yourself. I got to even meditate on that one. All right. I love it. I love y'all. If you want to donate, all links in the description box. And I will see you tomorrow. I love y'all. Thank you for being here. If you're watching the replay, like, share, subscribe, comment, leave a message, and share. Share. Peace and blessings.